What's happening, boys, girls, everything in between?
Mm-hmm.
We're back with our Street Kings podcast. It's been a wee while, a few weeks we've been off air, but we're back. We're on air with our new saying, and we have these two legends in with us today. Boys, if you want to introduce yourself, go ahead.
What's up, guys? I'm Chris from Blackwater Research, and Tom.
Tom Hayek, Dive Vessel Carmel.
The big captain.
Yeah, something like that.
So, boys, for the people who don't know, obviously this is episode 007. So I'm really thankful you boys came out to see me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having
Fucking
us.
drove really far. Tom, you came from Connecticut?
Yeah, Bridgeport.
Oh, all the way down to Freeport, Long Island, and yourself?
Yeah, not bad. Westchester for me. So
Westchester?
an hour.
You said White Plains, Westchester?
It's 20 minutes north of White Plains.
Alright.
So not bad.
Yeah. I remember
Just shitty weather. Nobody knows how to drive in the rain. So.
White Plains sounds so fucking fancy, but Westchester is actually really fancy, right? Westchester's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's
area.
nice. It's definitely nice.
Yeah.
I'd rather be on the water, but it's good for the kids. It's, the schools are good, and the wife's happy.
That's a plus.
That's it.
Happy wife, happy life. Can't
Yeah.
go wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
So for the people that don't know, like I said, you're here. You're a diver.
I'm a diver for a
Yeah,
long
dude.
time, yeah.
So tell us a wee bit about that. What got you into diving?
So I started diving when I was around 8, I'd say, with my father, in a Long Island Sound. So Tom's backyard, around Execution Light,
Okay.
and lobster diving. I wasn't even certified yet. I was 8.
Like commercial lobster diving, like fishing?
No,
lobster?
just literally going down there and diving. Whatever it was.
That's the
around
name of it. They
Execution.
just call it
What?
lobster diving. Is just the term for.
It's just what I'm calling. I go down
That's
like
just
grab the damn lobster on the bottom, put it in my bag, and come up with them.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so we do that on wrecks all the time. You go down there. It's fun. It's funny though. At night, if you go do a night dive, they're just walking across the bottom like idiots.
Yeah, they're feeding.
Yeah,
They
so
say
you just
the
go and you
cockroaches
grab.
at a sea. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, the cockroach tastes real fucking
Yo,
good.
have you never had one?
Oh, really?
I've never had lobster before.
Really?
Get out
I
of
don't
here.
eat seafood, not too much. It's not that I don't like it. I've just never really had it. I'm not really into it. Like
All right, so
My
who
house-
has lobster around here?
fucking every country.
So
This is nautical man. This is lobster city over here.
So you're having a lobster tonight.
I don't know about that. Like
split one.
Maybe
I'm
I'll give you some.
I'm a real ham sandwich man. I'll maybe try a wee piece. Like I think the most seafood I had was what we have on time, babe. The coconut shrimp. I like that. That was nice.
That's not
Coconut
Octopus.
shrimp.
Octopus.
Oh, I
as well.
love
I tried
octopus.
octopus. Char grilled
Oh
octopus.
my god, yeah. The Greek places make that great.
Yo, it's a bit funky. Like you come out, there's tentacles, there's suckers and all looking at you, and then
But
you
it's,
get in, and
tastes fucking
it's a
awesome.
bit like chicken or something.
Yeah.
I was really. Do you know in Ireland they have blue lobsters?
I saw that. Those are
What's the
just in
story?
Ireland, or
I don't know, but I know in Ireland we have them. I don't know
Okay.
anywhere else in the
because
world.
over here they're like a 1 in a million.
Yeah, so we have them normal.
Right. Did you
casual.
ever see one, Tom?
Yeah, blue lobsters. Yeah.
I've seen one.
Something about the temperature of the water or something.
Don't know. I don't know much about them. I know they're super rare. The 1 in a million. That's about the extent. I know.
I wonder do they taste different than a red one?
Don't know. I wonder how much it'll cost.
You know, in Ireland as well, they have these wee funny shellfish. They're called willicks.
Yeah.
And it's a wee shell, and you pick it out with a needle, and it looks like a fucking snapper. It looks like something you pick out of your
Oh,
nose.
it's the snails. Well,
But okay.
periwinkles.
And then there's other ones called cockles.
What is it?
Cockles.
Cockles.
Cockles. That's what you call it. COCKLES.
Well, we got the first
Say it
one.
with a-
Cockles and mussels and level. You never heard that song?
No.
Oh, that's a wee song.
We're not from that neighborhood.
Not from around that
Nice place, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
But yeah, the diving part of it, lobster diving with my dad when I was, around 8. I started driving a boat when I was probably 4 or 5.
What's your first boat?
My first boat was like 19. I think it was like a 72 Grady.
Grady White.
Open
Excellent
bow.
boat.
But it was an open bow.
Okay.
I got it for like I don't know $600. But it was I
Grady
had
White for 600. That's a long time ago.
well it was
Mm-hmm.
not to say it's a piece of shit. It's an old boat, but
But
you
it
know
float.
what? Out of all the boats I've ever had,
That
that was the one that did not break down on me. The motor, everything. I always blow my motors.
What motor you had on that boat?
I don't remember. That boat I had when I was
Outboard, though,
14. Huh?
Outboard.
It was an outboard, yeah. It was like a little, probably like a 70.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was
That's all you need.
small. Yeah, but no, I've had plenty of boats. But yeah, so I did that from when I was about 8 till, then I kind of fucked off when I was 13. Started hanging out with friends and what got me really back into it was I went on vacation, and I forgot where it was. I think it was like the DR or something like that. And it was just, you go into the stand, they have the pamphlets over there with the scuba diving. And I'm like, why not? I haven't done this for X amount of years. Let me just do it. Let me go do a dive. And again, I was 8. It was 8 to 8 to 12, 8 to 13, and now I'm probably, 16, 17 at this time when I go on vacation. Do the dive, and man, that was it. After I did that dive, I did not focus on vacation anymore. I'm on my fucking phone. I'm just looking up dive shops. I want to get back. Dive shops. What dive shops are around there? What dive shops? Hooked. And I'm like, I gotta get certified as soon as I get back. Gotta get certified. So then, come to find out, I'm living in Yonkers at that point, by Central Avenue. I don't know if you know. Are you
Yeah, a little bit. Yonkers is up by, we have a big Irish community up there, Woodlawn.
Yeah.
Massive.
Woodlawn,
Irish
McLean.
community. Correct. McLean Avenue, yeah, that's where all the bars is fucking
Yeah, I
bonkers.
used to go to bars
There's
all
people
the time.
running around with hurling sticks and fucking GAA taps on. I'm like, this is Ireland.
I love it over there.
It's
fun.
When I first came to Ireland, when I first came to America, we were up there. And I said, what the fuck they come here for?
It is Ireland.
No, there's no point coming to America if you want to go there. Cause
you're back in Ireland.
It's like you never fucking left. But
yeah, so my apartment at the time, was right across the street from a shop called Scuba New York, and the owner's Rob, actually a good friend.
He's a great guy.
I love Rob.
Oh my God, he's awesome.
Hi, Rob.
What's
up, kid?
What's the name of the shop?
Scuba New York.
Scuba New York.
So I'm like, go figure. It's right across the street. So I just literally walk across, go over there, and I'm like, boom, I need to get certified. Okay, well, who are you? That's who I am. I start the whole process. I get certified. Long story short, I'm like, now, I don't want to just dive on vacation. What am I going to dive? Once or twice a year?
It's not worth it.
So now I got to figure out what's around here, right? What's the dive around here? Then you find out about the wreck diving. And then you find out that, there's thousands of shipwrecks right here. We're probably the most in regards, having the richest history, maritime history, wartime history, all World War I, World War II, forget it. Going back to the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, all of it, right here in our backyard.
Egyptians were also masters of the sea, I heard, and they had shipwrecks. Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
You ever heard of it?
I mean, I don't know about here. I know, Tom, what? I know as far back as the Revolutionary War, you have rum runners out here, you have...
Freeport's mad for that, right?
Right.
I've got a rum runner that we hit on occasion.
The shipwreck?
Yeah, it's a shipwreck. It's right in Long Island Sound.
Oh, yeah, we have so many...
They call it the beer runner, I call it the rum runner, whichever, but there are beer bottles, literally, 75 feet long, 10 feet wide, 5 feet high.
Beer bottle.
The whole boat
went
down.
I know. I heard the same thing. It's like, that's a huge fucking beer bottle.
Big for bottles.
His eyes lit up.
Bottles are everywhere.
But, so one thing led into another, and then, now I have a very impulsive and addicting personality.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I'm going to do something, it's all or nothing, right? So with this, it was going to be all. So I become really friendly with the shop. I'm pretty much hanging out there every day of my life. To the point where my wife was like, "You want to marry Rob, or do you want to come back here?"
She's getting jealous.
Right. But anyway, I go there, and they had a pool there, so I'm getting used to my gear. He let me test it out in the pool as I bought it, configure stuff, and then he started hooking me up, telling me about dive boats, local dive boats, right? So there was a couple on Long Island. I forgot. You said I don't know if I was ever on the Eagle's Nest.
You got the Eagle's Nest right here in Freeport. You had the Loch Ness, which was a nice boat.
Right.
You had the Wahoo, which ran out of.
I was never on the Wahoo before my time.
Yeah, that's probably 12 years now. I think the Wahoo's been.
Yeah. Which one did I dive off of? Not the Sea Lion was in Jersey. There was Seahawk.
Okay.
The Seahawk over here in Long Island.
Yeah, it was over there. Point Lookout.
That's the same boat as mine.
So I dove off. Oh yeah, Henrique's.
Yeah, it's Enrique's.
So I dove off of that a few times. Then I would dive off. My diving career really started in Long Island. Then it became all New Jersey.
So have you diving's been that's your bread and butter, like that's what you've always done for work?
No, not for work.
So what do you do for a living?
I'm a construction project manager in the city. I built high rises.
Wow. Oh wow.
Yeah. Bores the shit out of me.
Pays the bills, but and I bet you
Pays the bills.
gets all that fancy equipment you have.
But like when I go in there and these guys hear half the shit that we do. They're like,
Yeah.
how do you fucking function up there? I'm like, I don't. I want to shoot. I want to shoot myself. I don't want to be here. I need to be hundreds of feet down, or I gotta be jumping out of a plane somewhere. I gotta be doing something. But this is not, you'll find me like up on a roof, walking on a parapet or something, doing something ridiculous.
So you're a project manager, you said?
Yeah.
And construction's not. I do it myself. Like it's the worst.
Yeah, it's the most stressful thing. The schedules that we have to hold, and constant covering your ass.
Oh my god.
Did you ever work in the field, or you've always been manager?
Yeah. So, I was local 40, iron workers.
Welder or something? Or?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Local 40 structural iron in the city. And then I was
You looking at any workers?
What's that?
Are you looking at any workers?
Who are they looking for?
Yeah.
What do you want to do something like that?
Yeah, something different.
I know a lot of people in the locals, so I'm sure Tom knows too.
Oh, yeah.
No?
No, that's a different. That's an
City
entire
side.
league that I have purposely avoided.
Welding's a good game to get into.
I love it.
Welding's fun, but I
You
mean,
do underwater welding?
I was going to. So after local 40, I went into a local called 1556, which Don is in.
Dirty water down?
Yeah. Okay. So that's what Don does. But I went into 1556. And what 1556 is, it's dock builders, scaffold, timbermen, and commercial divers. So there's four things in one, 5 things in one, whatever it is. I went in as a timberman to start, so you're building forms, right, for foundations, and then pile driving I did next while I was in there. But the goal was to get through my apprenticeship and then get into the commercial diving end of it and have them send me to the tank out in Vegas. That's where you get certified. That's where you do all your underwater welding and you do all your hat stuff, and you get your license over there. Well, I think that was around. If I might be off on my years, that was like 2008 or something like that, and that's when everything went to shit. And from there, it really slowed down, and so when I got into management, I left. I just couldn't deal with the constant week to week. Well, all right. Am I going to be laid off next week, or if I'm going to do 14 hours this week, am I going to get 70 hours this week? I couldn't deal with that. The up and down all the time. So I needed something steady. I needed salary. So I started from the bottom again. In project management, you've got to brush up on your skills with the paperwork, with the scheduling, with all of that.
People skills.
You can run the work in the field, right? But now you have to
Manage
bring a
people.
whole new. Right, so I started at the bottom there, and
Like I'm asking you for, do you know anybody that works? I just told my manager to go fuck himself and got fired a few days ago.
What happened?
I just got fired.
You did.
Yeah.
Why? Because you told somebody to go fuck themselves? I have that problem a lot. I do
me
that
too.
a lot.
Me too.
Unfortunately, or
And
fortunately,
I'm a phenomenal worker, and I'm fucking really good. And even the boss, like, my hands are tired. He's like, I don't have a place for you here, because I didn't just tell him to go fuck himself. I told him I keep his fucking head in.
Nice.
And,
Well, I mean, if you're gonna do it, you might as
can't-
well do it like that.
Yeah, you can't really do that in an office setting, So.
Well, they have to deal with that with me too. Like my company's pretty corporate.
But I would, when you poke the bear so much, sometimes the bear strikes back.
They will. I think sometimes they have to because they can't let you keep doing it. They have to be the boss at some point.
Yeah.
Which is like, fortunately for me, I've told plenty of people to go fuck themselves, including owners of companies. But I think I'm good enough to where they're like,
Can't replace
just
them.
walk away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just walk away, and then I'll have a side conversation with me. You can't say that in front of people. Yeah, you know what I mean? And you gotta understand that.
Yeah.
It's like, you do gotta understand that, in front of people, they are the fucking, that's your boss. You can't you can't do that in front of,
No.
If you want to have a side conversation with them and tell them how much you don't like them, that's a different story. But, what do you do? What were you doing?
Well, what happened? What was I doing for the job? Building gas stations.
Building gas stations.
Mm.
What goes into that? It's all plumbing?
Pump and tank, yeah. So it's welding, plumbing, electrical, fucking. You do everything. You do operate
everything.
machinery.
Oh yeah, I could absolutely hook you up with somebody. No problem.
I do it all. Like,
That I'm saying, I have so many subcontractors.
Mm.
You know, I can definitely get you something.
and it's,
Yeah, Tom.
Well, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of a couple. While you're talking,
Uh.
I'm thinking of a couple of jobs I did for my old boss,
Yeah.
and you start getting into some of these guys that are, your architects, and it's pretty funny because you're sitting in front of a guy here that barely made it through high school, but I aced plumbing, and my license overrides theirs.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty sad. And they don't look at it that way. Well, too bad. You have to, because when I stand in front of the judge, because you screwed up, the judge is going to turn around and go, "It's your license on the job. You should know better."
You're the one eating it.
Yeah, but wait a minute. I didn't do 7 years and become an architect or an engineer. Doesn't matter.
Right. Right.
Damn.
Swallow that. Then the guys get pissed.
So what? I'll wrap up that diving out of it just to get through the timeline of it. So again, I really started in Long Island with the diving, and there was about the sidekick. I don't know if you remember that one, Tom. It was sidekick was little. It was like a 25-foot. I forgot what the hell it was.
Catamaran?
No, but it was the captain from the Sea Turtle owned that boat before.
Okay.
That was Chuck, and then it was Neil Stark was the captain on this boat. Anyway, I started diving off that boat a lot. We did a lot. There's two main wrecks right here off of Long Island. One is the USS San Diego. That's in 110 feet of water. I think that
Something
is.
like that.
It's an armored cruiser, Navy warship.
Wow.
Turtled on the bottom. I think the wreck is around 500
got
feet
sunk
long.
in battle.
I think it struck a mine, right, or something.
They don't know. There's
Something
was
like
sabotage. It could have hit a mine. It could have been torpedoed, and they think it.
Right.
Basically, somebody got on it and blew it up.
Wow.
So there's that one. That one's turtled on the bottom. I mean, there is. Now, it is a Navy wreck. You're not supposed to touch anything in these wrecks.
Supposedly.
If you happen to be a pirate. There's a lot of booty on the wreck.
Somalian pirate.
You could just go in there and it's like going to
whatever
the
you want.
fucking going to the military store, man. It's take whatever
Fire
you want.
shells.
Whatever you
Surplus.
want. You want guns, you want shows, you want whatever you want. It's there.
But you're not allowed to touch
Can't
it.
touch it.
Not supposed to.
Not supposed to.
Not supposed to.
That's
That's why on my boat, anything that comes up,
Goes back down.
if I think if it's a military vessel that we know of or possibly, don't just leave it.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
Just leave it. Pretty much anything else, I don't care what you bring up. I would like to preserve history, bring up history, show history,
Right.
and
This is why we do that.
yeah, that's why we do it.
Mm.
Portholes,
You gotta,
anything, silverware, personal belongings.
there's so many. You have to look at these other countries, and it's even Ireland. Okay, let's use Ireland as an example. You have the Lusitania over there.
Mhm.
No, not it's Lusitania.
Loose candy.
You're not allowed to touch anything there. Now, in Ireland for that wreck, I agree and I disagree. I agree because you guys make a lot of money off of that. The government makes a lot of money off of that. Whenever these expeditions are had, we have to pay permits. You know what I mean? You have to pay fees to your government. They protect the wreck to keep that income going, which I can respect. So if you pull everything off this wreck,
Nobody wanted that.
what are they going to go for, right?
Pictures? Fucking nothing.
But the part that I say I disagree, to an extent, like overall I understand, and I agree with the big picture of it. But the Lusitania, unlike the Britannic in Greece, let's say, the Britannic is pristine. You got clear, warm blue waters, right? Beautiful conditions. Right, it's deep, but the conditions are amazing. That protected 400.
Wow.
Protect the wreck, right? By all means. It's still intact on the bottom. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, or at least it doesn't look that way. Leave it alone. The Lusitania, on the other hand, it's collapsed. It's fallen apart, just like the Andrew Dory that we dive. All right, back then in the 90s when these guys were diving the Dory, the Dory was still intact. You could still set down a set of drawings and navigate it by the rooms. You can draw the corridors. You can laminate the fucking thing and bring it down with you and navigate it that way. Now, you cannot make heads or tails of what that wreck is.
Because it's all flat into each
It's
other.
flattened. It's collapsed. The decks have fanned out. The fucking the floors are the floors are the ceilings. The walls are the floors. It's just And if you do find any of that, right, it's usually just a big debris field. How you look at that wreck. But going back to Lusitania, that's like Lusitania is. It's collapsed, and it's a mud composition bottom. So all the shit that's down there is sinking and will continue to sink, and you're going to lose it for good.
Why not bring it up?
Right. So
and then make a museum and then make money off the museum.
Exactly.
Are we at that point now? Right. It's like they should make a law to where it's like, listen, if the wreck is in a certain shape right now, leave it alone till the foreseeable future. Right. So
like
now
a listed building,
right.
If it's crumbling, you keep the facade, you fix the rest of the building.
Right. Now the wreck, let's say, let's estimate it. We know what the currents do to it. We know what the storms over the winters do to these things. Let's estimate that, within 3 years from now, there's going to be barely anything left. When do we start thinking about recovering these artifacts before they are gone? And like you said, putting them in a museum in Ireland. Making a museum just for that wreck. Sure you could. There's plenty of shit on there. Look at the size of the wreck.
Yeah.
I don't know many museums that big. But, yeah, I think they should do something like
Before
that.
it's gone forever.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be going.
And that's what we do.
It's probably a good portion of it gone already, right? You would say?
Oh, yeah. So on the Andrea Doria, so that takes care of, I'll get to the Doria when we get into New Jersey. But the other wreck that we know of a lot, which Tom's very familiar with also, is the Oregon. The SS Oregon off of Long Island. It was a steamship.
It's a great dive.
Cunard line, right? I believe that's a Cunard line.
I forget. Actually, it's funny. I should know that.
Yeah,
I forget. It's been a while.
Cunard line.
Okay.
It's got beautiful, everything on that wreck was gorgeous.
Cunard.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the quality of everything on it. And it's a big wreck, too. Steamship, I want to say that wreck was good 400 feet long.
It's got 9 boilers.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's not much left to it.
Sits in 130.
Coal-fired?
130 feet.
For steam, right?
Yeah.
Sits in 130 strong, maybe 135.
Yeah.
And the boiler comes up to 75. The engine comes up to 75 feet.
And when you have Viz on that wreck, and this
How the
engine,
fuck did this thing float?
this engine,
Exactly, right?
What the fuck? Like,
Tom, right?
Did it
The
have
engine
bilge
looks like a
pumps or something?
skyscraper.
You could swim through it.
It had bilge
Yeah.
pumps, I guess, right?
I don't know how the hell
It
that.
would have had to back then, right?
But this engine,
That's
if
the
you're
only
on
way
the
a boat
bottom.
works, right?
You're on the bottom. You're looking up at this engine. It's a skyscraper. It is. You can't swim right through it. You swim right underneath the motor, and actually, that's why I pulled out those oilers.
There you go.
So, at each cylinder, you'd have the oil. You'd have 2 boxes and a bowl, and they were all brass. They were oilers for that. Whatever. I'm not good with engines. You are for that cylinder, let's say. And they were, like you said, everything on this wreck was gorgeous. And
Oh God. Yeah.
I ended up making. I took them up. I polished them. They have main boiler 3 stamped in them and everything. It's really cool. And
Beautiful.
shit, I have a picture of it. So what I did was my other captain, Joe Maserati, on Tenacious. He loves smoking his cigars, and he loves the Oregon. So I was like, perfect. It's a perfect gift, right? Like, I'm looking at these 2 boxes, and I'm like, those would make perfect cigar boxes. And then the bowl in the middle had like a little screen in it, and it would flip up and down. And I'm like, that looks like a fucking ashtray to me. I was like, and the orientation, how they were sitting on the motor was box, ball, box. I'm like, I'm going to mount it on a plaque, and I'm going to call it the Oregon Cigar Lounge. And I gave it to him, and he was like,
cool.
dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll show you.
You get friends like that. That's a fucking nice guy.
But when we have so much shit, it's like, what do you do with all? You know what I mean?
Mm.
My wife's going to fucking kill me.
Yeah,
Spread the
bringing it
wealth.
all home.
My house can't even handle the weight of this brass that's on the walls.
Yeah, you find some cool stuff.
Yeah. You're on a wreck at the minute. You said it has 1.2 billion or 1.2 million worth of gold apparently or something.
B.
B, yeah, billion.
B.
B?
B.
What the fuck? And you found a couple of coins?
Found a couple of coins.
I have a coin myself.
Do you?
What's it off of?
Oh shit. Where's this from?
America. It's a $5 gold coin from
1892.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
That's cool.
Liberty.
That's a nice heavy chain you got there.
The coin's most of the weight. The coin's 7 grams on its own.
Jesus.
Without the bezel.
Ah, that's gorgeous.
So $5 is a quarter, and then the $10 is a half ounce, and then the $20 is a full ounce bullion. It's called a bullion.
Bullion, yeah.
I like coins, man.
No,
I used to
they're
have a
cool.
quarter before I fucking got a better job.
Where the hell is I really want to show you that picture.
Had a quarter from 1941 because any quarters before 1964 are 100% pure silver.
I got a handful myself.
Class, man. And I have shillings and all we brought over from Belfast when we were back home too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
We're at the Sunday market. We picked up a couple of shillings.
So these are the Oilers. I mean, they have the plaque somewhere. When I pulled them out, these are boxes, and that's
What do you use to clean them? Muriatic acid?
yeah, and then a wire
Wire wheel them. Yeah.
So then that would be them. The main boiler 3.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's like a little ashtray. You know what I mean? The ball.
Yeah.
So it worked out perfect. And as we talk, that's some of the china from the rack.
Oh, you show me plates here. They pulled up.
Plates. Oh,
You.
oh yeah,
Tell
there's
for
a
the
lot
people who
of
are listening.
But yeah, so I did that. I gave that to Joe, and that's an awesome wreck to die. But then I want, there's only like 2 wrecks there, so it's like how many times do you keep? I guess you can dive the wrecks as much as you want. Like,
Do you dig when you're down there?
oh yeah.
With a shovel, like you?
Now
dig
my
the bottom?
hands. Tom's got a dredge on a boat. That's really for the digging.
We're doing airlift. Yep.
So before I met Tom, it was with
What,
my hands.
You tow it with the boat and it scrapes the bottom.
No.
No.
So what you
Go
do
ahead,
is
Tom.
you pump air down to the ocean floor through a garden hose, for crying out loud. You can do it like that. Just that
Just to
simple.
disturb the bottom.
No, well, it's kind of funny. So we started we call it the dredge. It's technically an airlift. So what you do is you pump air to the very bottom of a piece of 4-inch PVC.
With a compressor or something.
Yep, with a compressor. Get it down there. Get as much volume as you can. The more the more air you can get down there, the better off you're going to get. The better suction. So as the air goes up, it expands and it basically vacuums. Some of the wrecks that we dive are so silted in, there's no place to tie into. So what happens is you
Sorry, I gotta refill.
Go ahead, brother. Don't be
pull
sorry.
right out.
Yeah, I'm not sorry.
Don't be thirsty.
I'm thirsty. Jesus, like a bull trying to get through there.
Mm.
Like pulling the china shop. Go ahead. What were you saying there, Tom?
So you pump that air down, you get it to go up, it causes a vacuum. Some of the wrecks are so silted in, we have no place to tie into. And I'm really big on putting moorings in because I can tell you, hey, listen, you're going to go down, this is what you're going to see. You bang a left, this is the way you're going to go. You bang a right, this is what you're going to see, this is the way you're
Mooring
going to go.
something that floats in the water.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know, just
Yeah,
it's like a
that's
marker, right?
Yeah, basically a marker. I know that
So
what I'm
you
tied into is going to hold the boat. The boat's 25,000 pounds.
Salute.
Fucking mess. Like a fucking train wreck.
You can't hold what you haven't got in your hands.
Sorry, Tom.
You're fucking up your whole speech. You're brutal.
I know.
It's just
So-
well Tom likes you.
So, listen, I don't. You get what you get.
That's
You
why
don't
we
get
like
what
each
you
other.
get.
There you go.
So we go down, we dig, and we're looking for places. It started off kind of as let's find another place to tie into, because in case this one breaks.
Mm.
And then out come the gifts: portholes, a cleat, just all types of stuff. But what I really love
Tom's
is
holding back.
when you're no, I'm not holding back. But when you
What's-
start really seeing the way the ship was made, how she lies, how she flared out
That's
over
the
the
coolest
years, you're bringing her back to life.
Do you feel like it sounds
A connection to it?
stupid, like, but do you feel like vibes from it? Like, do you feel a bit of energy
I
coming
would
off the
say
boat?
that's-
Like,
I do.
Yeah, Tom adds a lot of into the
Like,
wreck
I would
that we're
say-
talking about. Tom adds a lot of time into this wreck.
if you're somebody that's in the ghosts and shit, I'm sure you would fucking. You don't feel like spirits or something. You know
Nobody
what I mean?
died on this.
Yeah, nobody
Nobody
died on
died,
it.
alright,
So
okay.
I mean, rule number one is that if we're down there, we're digging on something, looking for something, you come across a remain, like for
It's the
example,
end of the day.
yeah,
right?
done,
Stop.
no more digging,
Stop.
absolutely not,
So you
no
just
way.
push out to the side, keep
Well,
going.
we did bring the airlift down on the U-853 one time, but it never went in. We only put it on the deck because I had made some modifications. I wanted to see how it was going to work, to see if it was going to work on the deck at 110 foot. It worked perfect. That was it. We brought it back up. It's never been inside, nor will it ever go inside. But if people pass away on wrecks, it is what it is. But if any remains are found, absolutely not. It stops.
Right, it's game over.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like what
I mean, I
fossils
found
and
a
stuff.
skull one time by accident.
Human skull?
Yeah. You think you know, you're looking for. We see white. We see the top of something white. It's like China to us. Grab it, and I'm like, oh, whoa, fuck. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
What happened to me?
Sorry to disturb you,
It's
buddy.
not a ball. It's not
I went to go grab
Oh.
one, and you see the cracks in the skull.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. And nope, it's not a ball. I thought it was a Super Bowl.
Of course. But Tom has like, I think, what do you have? Tom, 12 years in that wreck now?
Well, I mean, I've got 6 wrecks that were going on. I've been hitting Long Island Sound hard for about 12 years. We go out to Block Island as well.
Yeah.
Fisher's Island
Beautiful
Sound.
out there, right?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I love Block.
Yeah, it's mad in the summer too. I never went out, but
Never? You never went there?
everybody keeps telling me I gotta go.
Gotta get yourself a scooter, get drunk,
This
I
is
have
nice.
Fire Island too, but it's
try not to hit the sound like I do.
you're not
Not that kind of scooter.
no cars, right?
You gotta put the milk crate on the back, it's loaded with beer.
Oh, there you go.
Man, you go up with the scooter and just hit a sand patch and it's all over. Start collecting your beer off the side of the road.
Do it, Natalie.
No
poor
legs.
kid's crippled.
No.
No, she was doing amazing on the thing. I taught her how to drive it. She didn't want anything to do with learning how to drive it, and then she got to drive it, and then the hat went to fly off. She went to grab the hat, she lost control.
Oh, shit.
That's what
I tried
happened.
to grab it as I was driving. I kind of went like this.
She said she tucked and rolled.
Gotta do what
She
you
had
gotta do.
everything but the face, so
Thank God.
thank
Yes.
God is it.
The money maker.
My wee
You
baby.
know?
God bless you. Fuck, dude.
But-
But yeah, so for somebody who is interested in starting diving, what advice would you give them, or where do you go? How do you start?
Like you know how I started was just your traditional way, going to a shop and just.
Yeah, same thing with me. I wanted to go buy a. I think it was a $35 pump for my jet ski. I looked up. I saw the tank sitting on the ceiling. They had it hanging. I'm like, "You guys got a dive shop?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right." Well, here I am. I don't even know how much later.
What's the first piece of equipment you would buy?
I mean,
PC,
yeah.
regulator.
You don't want to get the right. You don't want to get the right stuff. You're not going to want to make the same mistake that everybody else makes.
Is it a
Which
one-stop
is,
shop thing, or
We could be, but you really want to do your research first on what kind of diving you're going to be doing, right?
Absolutely.
So when I first got into this, it was like
but if you don't dive, how do you know what kind of
for
dive?
guys like us,
Yeah,
you need to you. That's what that's what we
Get
said.
on the
Come out on
boat.
the boat with Tom.
yeah. Get out on the boat. Watch what we do.
Right.
Ask questions. And you know what? And don't be geared to just one dive shop. Go shop to shop. Why is that Scuba Pro regulator the best? Why is that Shearwater the
It's like
best
what-
computer?
It's probably like with cars. If you buy cheap, you buy twice.
Exactly.
Or 3 or 4
and
or
I've gone
5, 6,
through
7 times.
Yeah. I've gone through 4 sets of regulators because the first dive shop, these are the best ones on the market.
Right. 'Cause
Okay,
That's,
they
what they
suck.
said.
Also, your life's on the line with this equipment too, right?
Well, that's pretty bulletproof. They got these things dialed in to where really any regulator works well, but there are regulators that work better than others, especially the deeper you go.
Tell us a wee bit about depth. What way does that work? So you said something about you have to go into compression chambers.
No, well, I mean, listen, you do this long enough, you're going to take hits, decompression hits. You know, you need decompression sickness. You try not to, obviously, but when you're doing,
So if you're
So-
diving 50 feet, you don't worry
no,
about
you're not really worried about that. You got to really worry about when you're diving below, 200. You're doing it regularly, you're doing it daily, and it's the repetitive dives that sometimes I'll be totally honest. Do I get a little crazy sometimes and I try to push? Yeah. And do I have, our crew telling me that I'm a moron doing that?
What's an
Absolutely.
example of what do you mean by when you push?
Okay, so I'll bring somebody up. Rick Simon, he was also on Sewer Divers. You know Rick or not?
No.
So Rick Simon was on Sewer
So
Divers. He's also part of the crew on Tenacious. And I've had a lot of mentors in my whole career, and that's somewhere I was going to go with when I started getting into the Jersey diving away from Long Island. Started going to do the deeper stuff. But anyway, Ricky, we've been diving together for a while on that boat on Tenacious, and Rick's a deep diver also. He's on a rebreather, and we're out on this wreck called the Carolina, the SS Carolina, It's in 240 feet of water.
Kind of fucking deep.
Yeah, and we dive that all the time. Like every year, you'll find us on the Carolina. And the Carolina we love because it's another one of those wrecks where everything on it was so like the quality of the stuff. It's amazing. And I was after these, they're called deadlights or engine room skylights. And to me, it's like the nicest, if you want to call it a porthole, it's really not. It's the nicest artifact that not the most significant that I found. Not worth the most, but I like it the most because it's a porthole that's like this big, and then it has a brass frame, and it's got a steel backer. So it's like a porthole in a natural picture frame. It's a brass picture frame and a brass porthole. So I got one which I absolutely fell in love with, and I'd like to pull a picture of that one up for you. I have one of those, and on this dive, I found another. I'm like, motherfucker, I love these things. So I really need two. Mm. But I love these things. And there's only 6 on the wreck. What's that?
Things are good in pairs.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I do.
Like tits.
But I did 2 dives that day. The first dive, and we try to do, so there's a big thing with the boat with us is, if we're out there for 2-3 days, which on those offshore wrecks, we try to get 3 days if we could. If not, we do 2. We don't go out there for 1. It's too much fuel to go out, do 1 dive, 2 dives, and then race back. It's too much of a rush.
Not to throw you off, but roughly how much fuel does it cost to get out there?
To go to Carolina and back, are you talking, Tom can answer this question a lot better. You got 60, 65 miles each way.
Talking thousands of dollars, right?
Probably.
Fucking hell.
I mean, he's doing 16 knots.
So I'm doing 16 knots. I'm doing a 31-mile run to the U-boat and back.
Okay.
Well, 31 miles one way. So figure 60 miles round trip. I'm burning about 60 gallons, 65 gallons of fuel.
You got a diesel?
Yeah, single diesel. Yeah.
Single. Turbo, right?
Purposely, yeah.
Holy fuck, that's just beautiful.
It's nice, right?
That's just how it came up, just like that?
No.
You put the frame in it, right?
No, the frame comes on it.
You just cleaned it up.
The
I
wood
cleaned it
frame?
on. No, the wood frame I put on. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I told you about the brass frame.
Yeah.
I mounted it on the plat.
Yeah, that's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, so I got another one.
It looks like a vault of a door, like a bank vault or something, you know?
It's a gorgeous piece. It's on this one.
I like the crack. The crack almost makes it.
Yeah, and I have pictures of it on
This is what you find when you
How
go,
old was
when
that
you
ship?
go deep.
40, I believe 42, World War II.
What do you get hit by a sub?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when I got, I had
Like everything
You
everything.
said
else.
U-boat, so it's a German boat?
No, not the Carolina was a
That's how it looked when you pulled
Puerto
it up?
Rican steamship company. Huh?
That's how it looked when you
Yeah.
pulled it. What the fuck? So when you got it, it was completely disgusting.
Oh, like everything. Like everything that we pull up.
They're hammered.
Holy shit, like
You would never-
it
sometimes-
looked
a lot of
garbage, and then when you polished it up, it was absolutely
A
beautiful.
lot of people don't even know it's there. They can swim right over it. You know what I mean? They don't even see it.
So you have to
You have to really have an eye for this, and you have to know.
what you're
You
looking
have to
for.
know how the wreck's laid out,
Mhm.
and you have to know. Well, I'm in this area. This is what's going to be here.
And you also know what parts of the ship look like, so you know what you're looking for, right?
Right. Like
Okay.
Tom can tell you, like when the ship that he's on now. You have to look. You have to look back, and you've got to get back. You got to draw stuff on paper and think about it. How did it list? Did it list towards this side? How would it have been laid down? Where would the bridge be if it fell this way? Did the bridge collapse down? Did it fall off to the port side? Did it fall off to the starboard? There's so many different things to look at,
All
and now
very-
you have to picture this in your mind, and you got to start digging and see if you're right.
And piece of story together.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Which
It's
makes it
underwater
so
CSI.
There's
right, and then your
That's
payoff could
fucking
be huge
so cool, man.
when you hit the mother load.
What is the most expensive thing you found so far?
It's a porthole for me. I haven't really found anything spectacular.
No, I don't think we've ever found anything.
Well,
I mean,
it's
well-
probably not worth a lot of money, but it's worth a lot.
So what's it worth to you? Is what
Some
you're asking.
prices to
Yeah, it's
us.
who's buying it,
So-
you know what I mean?
A gold pocket watch for somebody's personal belonging.
That's the second one.
That's probably one of the nicest finds because
Is this one cleaned up like that one?
No,
somebody's
that
personal
one's still in my
belonging.
backyard. Said that.
Which one?
The second deadlight. The one I'm going to tell you about how I look at. Well, how I got bent.
Oh, jeez.
So Rick tells me, I'm sorry. It was
Yeah, full circle.
dive 2.
Yeah.
And so we only do 2 of these dives a day. You're below 200 feet. And you do a good surface interval. You know what I mean? When we're out there, you take a nap, have lunch.
How long? 200 feet. You can work for how long at the bottom?
It's not about how long you can. It's about how do we make it as safe as we could. We're 60-something miles out, right? We have 3 days
50
out
miles
there.
from the shore.
Right. We have 3 days out there. What's the rush? That's the first question. What's the rush? You're out here, right?
You stay 3 days at sea.
Yeah. So you go down on your first dive. And we always say on the
You
boat.
get seasick?
No.
Okay.
90 minutes is what we say. 90-minute dive total. Now, for about 240 feet, that gives you around 40 minutes on the bottom. You got about 50 minutes of decompression. So, you could do 3, 4, 5 hours. But why? Your ratio starts going through the roof. So in other words, now if I take that 40 minutes to 50 minutes, that 90-minute dive now becomes a 130-minute dive. The ratio starts getting out of whack. You do 60 minutes on the bottom now you're 3 hours for the dive. You got 2 hours decompression. So you do 90 minutes, you still get a good working time on the bottom.
Talk me through what decompression actually means. So if you go down, you go down to 140 feet, whatever you said, and you work at the bottom, and then coming back up, you have to wait for 2 hours.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of science behind that. It's all displayed on your computer.
Where do you wait? Like, how do you know?
It'll tell you all those depths.
Oh, so you
These
come
are
up to a certain depth.
stage decompression.
And what, you just have to hang out there?
Yep.
You just paddle
You just
Hang on
get
the rope.
neutral and hang on your down line.
Mm-hmm.
and just hang out.
So the thing is,
You can't look at your phone or anything. You're just sitting there.
just sitting there.
Sitting there.
So here,
And then you come up another bit and you have to sit again.
Well, the best thing is your deep stops.
This is fucking weird.
Your deeper stops are a lot less. So let's say you're at 240 feet. Usually your first stop's around 110 foot. So I usually rock it up. There's a lot of science that goes behind this too. It's like technically you shouldn't go faster than your bubbles go. Well, guess what? I'm fucking smoking my bubbles on the way up because I want to hit that first stop. And please don't take this advice from me.
Yeah, it works for
This
us.
is me.
It works for you.
I get up there as fast as I could because guess what? At that depth, even at your first stop, you're still on gassing. You're still taking on. You're still taking on. How do I put this? You're still on gassing.
You're still taking on nitrogen.
You're still building your decompression time until you get to a shallower depth. That stops
When you
racking
stop.
up.
Man.
So you get there first. 110 feet. Now let's make it simple. The deep stops will be like a minute. Your next stop, you're like a minute. Your third stop, you're like 2 minutes. Then, when you start getting into the biggest pressure differences, or usually it's around like 40 feet, 30 feet, 20 foot is usually your last stop. Could be 10 foot. But let's say from 110 to 30 feet, I probably only do 6-7 minutes on all those stops. Then I get to 20 feet. Now I'm sitting at 20 feet for 40. Your last stop, your greatest pressure difference, is where you hang the longest. And now the shitty part about that is you're looking up at the bottom of the boat and you're like, these motherfuckers are all eating lunch right now. And I gotta sit here and stare at this fucking thing for 40 minutes. Now I've got sharks over here. I've got this stupid triggerfish over here nibbling at my fucking fin. You're kicking him off. And it's just more things to be annoyed about.
Yeah, because you're so close, but you can't go.
Right.
Now, if you skip that last...
You're dead.
Whoa, so that's the most important one?
Yes.
Bye-bye.
You're dead.
How easy would it be to skip it? Like, could something malfunction to
Yeah.
cause you... Like,
Yeah.
So what controls it? Your watch or something? What's telling you where to stop?
Your controller displays all that information.
It's a
You
watch, it's a
pre-program
computer, what is it?
everything.
It's a-
Computer.
And it's like on your waist or something?
Right, now with rebreathers, I'm not going to get into the whole rebreather thing, but diving and doing gas switches and decompression open circuit is totally different than on a rebreather. And what we're wearing is theoretically a mixing station. It's let's call it a nitrox mixing station on your back. Gives you the optimal mix at all times. All parts of that dive, you are breathing your optimal mix. It's mixing it. It's mixing the gas. So the rebreather just recirculates your air, right? So
your suit... there's nothing being pumped through your suit, right? Your suit's just your skin.
we're dry, and we have. Well, I have heat. I'm a little bitch. I love heat. He's a fucking polar bear, so he doesn't use heat.
No heat?
No.
He's dry.
No.
How deep you go?
No. It doesn't matter.
Does it get cold? It gets colder the deeper you go, right?
Yeah, usually, but get
Yeah.
acclimated.
Yeah.
But I mean, in your defense, I mean, you're doing a total minute. You're doing a 90-minute runtime.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not into doing that stuff. I'll do 10 minutes of deco, no more.
So
So I'm out of the water eating lunch. Well,
is
Right.
there any
He's down
part
If
of-
he gets
suffering.
too fucking cold, he comes up.
Is
He's
there any
like, "Fuck
part of your
this."
body that's any skin exposed? No, everything's
Yeah,
covered.
yeah. There's stuff around your face that's not in your
your
hood.
head and your hands.
I do dry gloves. Tom does wet gloves. I feel like yours are better.
I think you had bones. You have bones on your suit.
You see my bone gloves?
Was it on? You had bones
The
in
gloves.
your arms too, right?
I have bones in my arms.
Yeah. Fucker. On your suit, you had a fucking skeleton bone.
No, but it was only my hand.
Oh, was it? I thought it was on the arms.
No.
Just the hands.
No, I got the gloves. I got the over gloves.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
We went with the whole bone rush thing.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. You found a bone, a fossil.
Yeah, yeah. So
Tell me
yeah,
about it.
a jawbone. Jawbone.
Yeah.
So
Supposed step base and jawbone.
supposed step bison jawbone.
Yeah, and you were the man pulled it out of the water. I seen the picture of you coming out of the fucking
Yeah.
water.
So again, it just goes with technique, right? It's how we find things.
I was gonna say, how did you find it?
You don't just go down there and look.
Mm.
It's number one.
Well, John Reeves helped a wee bit, right? We just where to start, right?
That's where it started.
Mm-hmm.
Right? John Reeves claimed something. Joe Rogan put it out there. You got people that were
Joe Rogan
ballsy enough
made
to do it.
made a funny fucking joke that your lips were exposed.
Dude, his lips!
The fuck?
He goes, the other guy was like, no, fuck his lips!
You fucked the bum. That guy's fucking lips are exposed.
Joe
in the
Rogan
East
is like,
River.
he's like, yeah, he's like, his lips. Fuck that shit.
Yo, I thought that was
He's
hilarious.
like, yeah, his lips.
Oh my god, it's funny. It's like this man gets his moment on Joe Rogan. He just goes, "His fucking lips." But it was funny. Like you don't think about stuff like that until after, right?
You don't think about it till you go to the bottom, and then you see the whole fucking bottom is moving like this, and it's white. And you think, you know,
Not dirty.
I didn't do any drugs today. You know, I don't.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Maybe tomorrow.
But the whole bottom is moving, and I'm like, there's something wrong with me that I might hungover. I don't know what this is. So I get down there a little closer, and I'm like, why is the bottom moving? Sand doesn't move like this. Doesn't do this.
Silt like dirt.
Silt. It was a fucking layer of toilet paper across the whole bottom as far as you couldn't see because you really can't see much down there. And I'm like, there's no fucking way it's toilet paper. And I go like this. I take my hand, I just fan it. And it opened up a pocket, and there must have been 3 inches in between the top of the sand and the bottom of the layer of toilet paper across the whole bottom. So then I'm like, what the I was so
This is the East
pissed
River
now.
in New
I'm
York.
pissed. I come up, and I look straight at the land, and of course, there's a huge discharge pipe right there. And it just rained heavy the day before. So note to self,
Yummy.
or anybody else that's thinking about doing this dumb shit in the East
So your
River.
immune system is banging. Like,
Must be.
You got
My buddy called me that night. He was like,
Coronavirus
"Dude."
says, "Fuck no, I ain't getting in there."
My buddy called me. He was like, dude, he goes, hey, last time I did that shit, he goes, I woke up the next morning on 105 fever. I was like, 105? That's fucking hot.
Yeah.
Fucking brain.
Right.
Boiling.
Yeah, his brain's toast. Kevin.
Smoke coming out the ears.
That's why it's his brain's fucking toast. But, yeah, that's pretty fucking disgusting. So that's real. The river is really polluted no matter how much
What was the craziest thing you seen when you were down there?
the bone. It's
no,
really nothing.
no cars, no fucking,
I didn't see any car. I'm sure you'll find cars.
yeah,
You know,
no fucking mafia man. Concrete,
No, I did not find
concrete shoes
I'm
on.
gonna try to find Hoffa.
I didn't find Hoffa. Apparently, Don's crew, they found a few bodies in there. Yeah, I think Johnny Santiago found 9 bodies in their career in the river.
What the fuck?
And I think Don found 3. So,
Holy shit!
yeah.
No thanks.
It's not something that you want to,
You don't want to encounter that, right?
You don't want to encounter that because it's as black as your hoodie, the water.
Mm.
You can't, I mean, you're engulfed. It's so black down there. And I mean,
So your equipment is dirty as fuck, right? I watched the video. You little kid was
with the
helping
soap,
you fucking
the Dawn?
Yeah. Who's the little kid? That's your
That's
kid?
my son. Yeah.
That's your son?
Yeah.
I seen him help you. That's a
He's
good
a
help.
little. He's a crazy
Little legend.
He is.
I seen you making a fucking soapy bath. Fucking. I was like, damn, that
Yeah,
shit
get
must
rid of
be
it.
stinking.
My daughter, she's more of a badass than he is right now. Forget it. She's like a little.
How old?
They
are
both want to be divers. Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
You would recommend? To your kids?
Absolutely. Not they'll never do what I'm gonna do. Like my wife, like she's like, yeah, they can dive.
Does your
But
wife
not-
dive?
No,
Which any interest?
no.
Won't even come on the boat.
It's probably a good thing. We both have our,
Yeah,
you
like me
gotta
and her,
have
complete
different
opposites.
things.
Complete fucking opposite.
Right.
She does a lot of stuff that I do because she's a she's a real one.
But no, my daughter's 9, and my daughter's Gia. She's 9, and then my son Jackson is 3, and they're both
Class, man.
both little badasses. And
Little future divers,
yeah.
treasure hunters.
Just not this deep stuff. You know what I mean? Not fucking diving the river. Look, I don't mind if they go dive a ship, right? Like you can dive, or on vacation, but no. I'm not putting my kids in 200 feet of water, 300, 400. I'm not doing that.
So other than this bone,
So the bone was a technique to find it. The technique was, and it's what I said on the show. It's what I said on the scissor reel that we shot. It talks about Hell's Gate, how everything's going to be in Hell's Gate, or how everything's, where is it in the river? You got to look at so many different things. The FDR
was
built, right? It was built in sections. Each section was from this year to this year. I think the FDR started to get built in
FDR is a bridge, right?
FDR Drive.
Okay.
So it's the FDR Drive Manhattan is the highway.
That runs on the
east
outskirts,
side.
right? Yeah.
It's on the East River. 1936. Okay. The bones are supposedly dumped in 1940. Now their timeline's like 1930 something to 1950. Well, forget about narrowing down to the fucking day. Now we got 15 years to try to narrow it down.
A lot was done in 15 years.
In a nutshell, though, the shorelines of Manhattan were extended out over 100 feet. You've got 6 lanes of blacktop, plus a center rail, right? Plus a bike path. All built at different times. All that was built on landfill. Okay? So you had to dump all this fucking landfill in. Then you had to pave the roads.
Manhattan is reclaimed land, right?
And Manhattan is from Bristol, England. So the city of Bristol in England, when it was bombed by Hitler, our ships would load up over here, bring war supplies over to England, offload, have nothing to put back on the ships to come back over here, so they'd end up loading up our ships with all the rubble from Bristol, bringing it back here, and before they would dump it into the East River. So when you go down there, you're looking at parts of cathedrals on the bottom from England. There's actually a place called Bristol Bay. It's downtown. It's just a little peninsula that comes out that has the most amount of landfill dumped there from England.
Wow.
So you'll find arches down there from like historic buildings, from churches, cathedrals. Fill.
Yo, because like even Belfast, where I'm from, most of the time, right up to fucking, we call it Albert Clock, where the prostitutes used to stand years ago.
Nice.
It was all reclaimed land right in, and they said the ships used to come right up to fucking where Albert Clock is, and then they filled it all in.
Yeah.
It's crazy the way they can do
But
it.
isn't it amazing? Like when you start going into this, like the history that you find.
It's amazing.
Unreal.
It's like who would have thought?
And again, this is why we try to bring up history.
But I would say a lot of this stuff that especially what you just said, like none of that's really taught. It's not taught there.
No, it's not even like
you know what I mean?
people
It's not even talked about.
get
You
into
know what I mean? But unless you're a diver, you wouldn't know that.